Hello, welcome to A Boy and His Dog. Today we're talking about the Dallas Buyers Club, our thoughts, our opinions, our rants. Alright, so this movie opens up and is what I think looked like a dark period because like of just the way that it was shot visually, it is dark anyway, but like I just think that's what they were trying to convey is like the darkness that's in his life, you know. And then he finds out the big bomb, like he comes down with AIDS or whatever.
Comes down with it.
He it's like a virus, you know. So like you can come down with a bad case of it.
Yeah, don't drink out of any mud puddles. Like
That's
catch,
right.
Catch that AIDS.
Yeah. So what did you want to say about the opening?
No, I just thought it was good that they got right to the point. Excuse me. It reminds me of a movie I forced you to watch not too long ago called Deep Cover, where they like immediately got into it within like the first 10-15 minutes. So I mean, they basically broke down who Ron Woodward. It was Woodward. Wait, what? No, Woodruff. Is that what it was? Ron Woodruff?
Didn't write it down.
I can't remember how to say it.
But yeah, I was just gonna call him Ron.
Yeah, but they got. I mean, they wanted you to know he was a Texas man, which you'll have more details about that I didn't know about the real guy. This is based off a true story, I guess, for the most part, which is we'll talk about that. But I mean, they got right to it. You know, he's a Texas guy. The Rock Hudson shit was going on at the time, so they used that as a way for his character, this characterization of the real guy. You know, they used the Rock Hudson thing as, a way for him to express his views on homosexuality. But they just immediately got right to the point. He discovers very early on that he's sick. So, I mean, I really like that because it gave time to, go from the moment they tell me he has 30 days to the end of his life. So, I mean, I prefer that rather than, the first third or the first half of the movie for them to build character, for you to care about it, and then drop the bomb. I like when they do it early, and then you see the complete journey. So I was happy with that.
Yeah, I guess it reminds me of The Road a little bit, where all the real story happens after the apocalypse, not before. So you didn't really need to know who the character was before the bomb went off.
Yeah, and then
so
well, and then again, like with the Rock Hudson thing, I like how they added in. They just didn't make him like this. He was a stereotypical Texas hate guy in a sense, but like at the same time, he wasn't just being like, faggots is gay that. It was like they had the Rock Hudson newspaper. He sees it. He's talking with somebody about he's doing coke with his friends. And he's like, yeah, they say I got AIDS, blah, blah, blah. So it wasn't like he wasn't just randomly a hate-filled person. It was just, a part of that culture. But it still let you see his thoughts on things. But they didn't totally go cartoonish with it, to where he was, just constantly being this, bigot or whatever. So, I mean, I really liked how they set it up.
all right, what'd you think of the plot though?
The plot? I mean, I think there's a lot of things. I think it's more of the movie. It seems like it's almost like the documentary about him that they couldn't do. So to me, it's less of a story as far as if you want to have that escapism. And it's more of like, for future generations to be like, hey, check this out. There was a time where people thought you could get AIDS from kissing somebody or just touching somebody. And there was a time where they couldn't get any help and there was no hope and we didn't have the medicine that we have now that could prolong your life and you could still live a normal life. There was a time when people were so scared of these people and they were ostracized and there was just, they were just not like, they were the lepers of society, and now there's so many celebrities and everybody if you don't know somebody directly that has HIV or AIDS, you know somebody that knows somebody, and it's still like, oh well, you know, I mean, look at Magic Johnson, look at tons of people. You can live, you know, a long life. So, but to me, like, I just don't think. I mean, there's a plot, but I don't really think that was the purpose of the movie. I think we had Philadelphia, where Tom Hanks is just wasting away this week. You know, you feel sorry for him, and then you got like Angels in America, where it's like they're playing the victim. But then you got this movie where the guy he's being proactive. You know, he's fighting, and I think that genre. I don't even know if there's an AIDS movie genre, but it needed that, you know.
Well, people also said that like it opened their eyes to the AIDS epidemic, you know, and it's like, and that is one thing that is buried because it's the FDA. Like, you know, they don't, like, you can't just go to a normal store to like, or buy like a book on medicine and then realize that there was a time where there were these such things as buyers clubs where they would just distribute medications, you know, that were not FDA approved or regulated, and like it's hard to find information on that accidentally. You have to like be in the know to actually like find the information. So it's weird that like to think that doctors or people in the medical field now like that are new to it are not taught about the certain aspects of it like that, because it's, you know, frowned upon, you know. So like it's weird to think that there's this whole era of practitioners that did it this way that no one really, that the general public doesn't know about. So it's weird that it's in the shadows, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is like, I mean, Saving Private Ryan does have a good plot, but this is like a Saving Private Ryan where it's like you put it in the vault, and again, like years from now, if they were like, well, you know, what was going on during that era? Like, you just put this movie in. This is, you know, this is what was going on. This is how society felt. This is what it was like for these people that were sick, that needed help, etc., etc. So, yeah, I mean, you know, the plot is pretty much, you could explain it in about like 2 or 3 sentences, but
yeah, and I think the real story is better than the story of the film. So I encourage you that if the movie sparks an interest for you in the topic, look up the actual Ron, look up the actual Dallas Buyers Club, you know, and just learn about it that way. Let's talk performances, though. I just want to say one little thing, too, that I like Steve Zahn. He's not in it very much, but I just like him overall. But Jared Leto, I thought was a great performance, and I think he is the one out of the 3 main actors of the film that is better than the fictional character that he portrays. Where I think the real Ron is better than Matthew McConaughey, and I also think that the words on the page are better than Jennifer Garner. So, like, it's a fictional character being better than Jennifer Garner, but yeah, good. Like, I still think Matthew McConaughey delivered a pretty good performance. I don't think it was like the most outstanding thing I'd ever seen. I think Jared Leto, though, is the kind of person that just really commits to anything and everything that interests him. You know, so I really felt like he gave a lot to Ray-Von, and overall, really liked it, really approve.
Yeah, I think, man, that scene, there's a scene when he's talking to Jennifer Garner, and he's asking her, or she's asking her about her dress. She's like, "You like my dress? It has a plunging neckline." God damn, man, if you watch that, if you just watch like the little subtle things he does with like the eye contact, the slight movements of the face, like, that's what separates good actors from great actors. And I mean, you say Jared Leto, you know, he's a great actor. Man, he is. He is. He's won an Oscar, so I don't really know if anybody doesn't agree with that. You could, you know what you can do, but come on, if you watch that scene, it's maybe about not even 2 minutes long, but just that gives you a glimpse of how good he is, and that's what sucks, man. Is like I saw this right before Suicide Squad, and then I saw Fury right before Suicide Squad. So I was like, David Ayer, Jared Leto coming off of this, we got it. So, man, hopefully we'll be able to see a David Ayer cut with with a bunch of the Joker stuff they cut out, because, you know, him doing that right off of this, he had to have done some stuff that really needs to be seen with that. But that, of course, he steals the show. But the weight loss, excuse me, with them too. This is like the first movie that I've ever seen where people have dramatic weight loss, but that wasn't like the big catch. You know, like there's so many movies where it's like this dude gained 120 pounds. This dude lost 100 whatever. And then when you see the movie, you're so distracted because they look so grotesque. You're like, what the fuck? But like their weight in this, it matched and it added to the performance. It wasn't distracting, which I thought was like incredible, especially for two different people. You know, to do the same thing, Jared Leto and Matthew McConaughey losing so much weight that, you know, it fit, it added, it turned them into totally different people. So I mean, I don't know how they did it and how people like, you know, Christian Bale can't do it, because whenever he does it, he goes to such an extreme that it takes away from what he's doing. But yeah, they really did a good job. But I mean, yeah, Jared Leto stole the whole thing. He deserved the Oscar he got for this.
I think the real villain of the film is just the FDA itself, and you know, that seems to be what they have to hurdle the most. And it's true, the government's a bitch. Like, they're going to be having their fingers in anything and everything they can, and they really weren't trying their best to actually help the characters with the medications or supplements that they were able to actually get to help them. I don't know how, I'm not going to act like I understand medicine or even try to understand the AIDS virus itself, but really, like, just a simple supplement changes that much. Like, it seemed far-fetched, even though it was a true story. I was like, really? I don't know. Like, so that kind of put me on the fence too, where it was like, if it really was that easy, would the FDA really put regulations like that in place? I mean, it seems like what they would do is like give something that's like the majority of it is the supplement, but they have like one little thing of actual like medicine to it, so that they could like sell it or brand it as a medicine or whatever, you know, and then make money off of it. But I don't know, like yeah. But it just seemed a little strange that something so easy. It's like if they told you, well, your leg fell off, all you got to do is drink a glass of orange juice every day for 6 months and then it'll grow back. You know, sorry to amputees out there, it's not true. But you know what I mean? Like, it seems like if that was true, the FDA would be like, well, we got this thing, it's kind of like orange juice, but it's got this little extra, you know, and we'll sell that to get the same effect.
Well, I mean, they've always done that, though. You know, anything that you know, is an easy fix for something that they can make, a whole ton of money off of, no matter how easy it is, That's
what I'm saying. But I felt like
give a misinformation and all that, and they're gonna make it so. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Where, you know, yeah, it seems like somebody, you know, like word would have got around that it's like, yeah, it's super, but that whole part when they talk about how much the AZT costs when they finally put it through, I'm like, man, like, what's the whole point? You know, you might as well, you know, should have kept it, you know, illegal or you know, untested or whatever. If you're gonna charge that much,
Right.
Like it's great, but again, like that's this movie is, I think it's going to be used as a snapshot to help educate people that at one time, society was this. We're still nuts, but as far as the AIDS thing goes, there was just no mercy. There was no giving in on that. They made it as hard as possible on those people.
All right. Anything else you want to add about the film at all? Like,
Well, okay, and then basically, we got to get to, okay, they give him 30 days.
Yeah.
Once he finds out he has AIDS, and then he gets to what, day 29, and then he meets Rayon. Is that
what it was?
I can't remember, but once he meets Jared Leto's character, to me the whole movie takes a whole nother vibe. The whole vibe changes because he meets somebody that's like his match. Because Ron, up until that point, he's a straight up force of nature. Wherever he goes, he's the center. He always has, a smart quip to say. But then he meets somebody he can feel it as soon as they meet. And then to me, the movie goes in a whole nother direction because it's going straight down for him. And then even though he's still sick, once he meets her, it seems like I don't know, it sparks something in him, to where there's almost hope, even though he's still dying, which I thought, again, that's another another A+ for Jared Leto. Just the fact that he can come in and then just totally change. They didn't change the editing, the music, anything like that. Just his presence just totally changed the movie.
And I could see that. I could see how Ron's on this decline, and then through Rayvon was able to bring that to a plateau and then slowly rise. I can give you that.
Is that what it was, Rayvon?
I think that's what it was.
I thought it was Rayon.
Rayvon.
So then he ends up getting a note from a orderly or something has an address from a doctor down in Mexico. And then that's another big turning point in the movie because he goes down there and the doctor tells him about all these alternative methods that really help. And then he gets back. And here's another thing. Through the whole movie, he never loses his outlaw ways, which I like. Like, he gets AIDS. Again, most movies, Philadelphia, Angels in America, they're laying there sick. They got legions on their face. They're just like, I just want to... He's like, nah, man. He's like, I'm still going to be an outlaw. I'm still going to be, I'm still going to be a cowboy. He starts smuggling these illegal drugs back from Mexico, but he dresses as like a priest. And I can't remember what else he pretends to be. Is that what it always was? Was a priest?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. So he starts smuggling all these drugs back, and then they open the Dallas Buyers Club, and it's basically people pay a membership. I can't remember what the membership was for, but they ended up getting free drugs. So technically, they weren't paying for the drugs; he was giving it to them, and then that's where they have the Dallas Buyers Club.
And that's why it's just outright not illegal for them to be selling. Because it is illegal for him to sell the actual product itself. But by saying, give me $400 and I'll give you a month's supply of whatever you need, then it's a loophole that he can't just be outright arrested for that. But they do fine him a couple of different times and confiscate what he has on location at the time that he's like raided or whatever.
Yeah. So and then of course they're super successful. They get people from all these other states that are coming in because they hear how good these more natural. That doesn't even make sense, but I'll just go with it. More natural methods. And then, but then of course the IRS, they get tipped off, they crack down, he starts getting in legal trouble, and then you start seeing changes with the character where, to me, it feels like he starts to understand he still has a purpose. He can't do all these other things, he can't do coke all the time like he was, he can't bang random chicks all the time anymore. But now he has a purpose, and then that's to help these people, even though he's still making money. And I know you have, an opinion about that, where you don't think that there was, a character arc, which I thought there was, where he started off really homophobic and selfish, and then he slowly, as time goes on, you see him giving it bit by bit.
I think he was still homophobic and racist, but he was like, you know what, they have money too, because like with the whole scene with Rayon on the sidewalk, and he's like trying to convince her to be a business partner, because she knows the people. She can be the liaison between him and who he doesn't like, but still be able to get that person's money. So I just saw him as a using character that didn't really change. He might have changed the facade a little bit to be like, you know what, if you're that type of person too, you don't have to just like come out and say it right to that person's face. So like maybe it went from being just a openly homophobic and racist to being a closet homophobic and racist, but like it takes an awful lot to truly change a person's core value foundation on that type of bigotry. And I don't think that was clearly shown throughout the course of the film.
I mean, I think he did grow, but it was just bit by bit. Just like you said, like a person to change that much, especially at that age and what he was going through. I mean, I of course don't think that everything, his whole past, the whole person he was, is completely going to change, because the way they made him seem is like he was always going to try to be true to himself and never sell out and
keep the outlaw way.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but for instance, the scene where Rayon cashes in her life insurance, and then she comes to the office, and then they hug. Like, to me, that's growth of his character. I don't know that
one person. It's like my stepdad was a huge racist, but with the black guy that we had as a neighbor, they got along just fine, because he took the time to learn who a person was and didn't judge this one person on his former belief. So I saw that growing up and thought it was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. But he's a different story entirely. But I seen that type of dynamic before, and I think maybe that's why I recognize it as that in the film, whether or not that was the intention. But the screenwriter for this, Craig Borten, Borten, he met the real Ron, and then 15 years later wrote the script and screenplay. So like the real Ron's friends and family say that he was never homophobic, he was never a racist, he was actually bisexual himself. So they think that as far as the core character of who Ron was, at least on those levels, are wrong in this film, which again is why I'm pushing you guys to, if you're interested in it, look up who the real Ron was and read about it, because the information's out there. Last couple of minutes, what do you want to say? That's like what I wanted to say. Like I didn't know about that until today. But that adds on to my biggest beef with the movie, is the whole Jennifer Garner character. Is that she was made up. She's not a real character. And to me, that smells like whoever was putting the money up was like, hey, like, we have to cater to these housewives that have watched Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson movies for the last 16 years. We can't have the whole total truth of who he is. We have to, even if he has AIDS and he can't have sex, they can just have a nice romantic dinner. And like, to me, that's like really takes so much away. We're like, you didn't need that, man. You had Jared Leto's character. They loved each other. It wasn't, a sexual love, but they loved each other. And to me, that would have been enough. But they had to shoehorn Jennifer Garner's character in there. Because you can't just have all male staff. It's
I just think, man, to me, I don't know. It's like
it has to have diversity.
Well, okay. Well, the whole movie is set, about people fighting for their rights and all this kind of stuff. But then at the same time, they have to force, this heterosexual, non-sexual relationship in there. I don't know, man. It just felt so like
Forced?
weird and Yes, and I did not like it. And Jennifer Garner, I just wish they would stop. Like, just stop. It's like every couple of years she'll pop up in something and they'll be like, hey, it's Jennifer Garner. And I understand she's a non-threatening mom now, but that's probably if you're trying to force someone down people's throats, that's probably the worst thing that could be.
And she only looked good in Dude, Where's My Car?
That's it. And then I thought her sister looked better than her in that. The little short, thick broad. But that's the, my big beef with it. And then with you telling me that he was really he was bisexual and, and other things, I think that really would have added, to the movie. You know what I'm saying? Because, how often do you see characters that are that much of an outlaw, but are still, and, back then, and, Texas, where they were hanging gay people still, Like, to me, that would have been a way more interesting character. And for people who are gay and want to come out, that's right up there with women looking up to Ripley and Aliens. You know what I'm saying? You finally have that strong woman who can just whoop ass, who can be the star of the movie.
And
I don't know.
And they don't have to lay onto a male.
Yeah.
To be that way.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think that would have added so much more. But again, that just smells like whoever had the check handed it and then put like, but we have one request.
All right. Final thoughts.
I thought the best scene of the movie was when he was jerking off after the dinner and then he accidentally saw the pictures of the guys that ran, head hung up.
All right. So overall, I only gave this movie 47% on my grading scale. So I'm not gonna watch it again. If I'm more interested in the real story, so I'm just gonna go that way. But watch it for Jared Leto's performance. Stay through the movie for that. But yeah. Other than that. I think everybody is S&ing Matthew McConaughey's D for something that that really shouldn't have went down the way that it did. I think Matthew McConaughey has had way better roles out there, and I don't really follow the Academy either, so I don't know if that was like his first Oscar win or whatever. But I don't know that it was deserved over the other people that year. So, and I don't even know who the other nominees were, but that's just my opinion on it. Do you follow the Academy?
It depends on if there's people that I care about that are in it.
All right.
Yeah, well, I give it 3.5 out of 5 dog bones. I think it's a good movie. Jared Leto definitely has earned his place in the up there with the great Oscar winners, I believe. I think it was a great role. All
right, well, that's our thoughts. So stay tuned. The next movie we're gonna review and talk about and rant on is Birdman. So Christina Ricci, if you're out there, give me a call. Other than that, see you guys next time.